Dark secrets of the world's most isolated island. Imagine getting stuck on the world's most remote island with nothing but ocean all around you. What if the only people you could trust were the children and grandchildren of rebels, whose dark past still haunts this faraway paradise? Would you do well, or would the secrets of the island destroy you? Let's find out what Pitcairn Island's secrets are. This is the place where beauty, history, and sadness meet in ways you never thought possible. What did really happen, and why doesn't anyone else know? The island of Pitcairn, which is one of the most distant inhabited islands on the planet, may be found tucked away in the vastness of the South Pacific Ocean. This minuscule piece of land, which is only 2 square miles in size, has a history that is both lengthy and turbulent. There is, however, a deeper and more complicated story that lies beneath the tropical paradise facade of the island. It is a story of survival, along with dark secrets and riddles that continue to haunt its beaches. The beginning of revolution. It was in the year 1789 when the HMS Bounty was making her way through the South Pacific when a rebellion broke out on board the vessel. Dissatisfied sailors led by Fletcher Christian staged a rebellion against their captain, William Bligh. The rebellion was led by the sailors. The mutineers, together with a small group of Tahitian men and women, made their way to Pitcairn Island in order to seek shelter after they were successful in gaining control of the ship. This was the moment that marked the beginning of the turbulent history of the island. In a last-ditch effort to evade arrest by the British Navy, the mutineers set fire to the Bounty in order to destroy it. The remains of the ship can still be seen submerged in the water close to the island, and they serve as a constant reminder of the events that took place more than 2 centuries ago. Despite the fact that the group of mutineers and their Polynesian allies had managed to settle into their new home, life on Pitcairn was anything but beautiful. There were only a few people who managed to escape the slaughter by the time the bloodshed came to an end. Nearly all of the original male settlers had been killed. John Adams, one of them, finally found himself in the position of being the community's de facto leader. He taught the islanders to read, grow crops, and instilled a sense of order in the town, allowing the small population to survive. A population of descendants. Today, Pitcairn Island is home to roughly 40 individuals, all of whom are direct descendants of the original mutineers and their Polynesian friends. In spite of its remote location, Pitcairn is equipped with modern conveniences such as connectivity to the internet and electricity, albeit on a fundamental level. The people who live in the Pitcairn community are extremely close to one another, and they are all aware of each other's personal lives. The island's isolation, on the other hand, has been a factor in the development of some dark and unsettling aspects of its history. Untrue and controversial information. Even while Pitcairn Island is frequently referred to as a paradise, it has also been the location of incidents that have caused a great deal of concern. The island was subjected to international attention at the beginning of the 21st century as a result of a devastating sexual abuse scandal. 6 men were found guilty of major offenses, including rape and sexual assault, as a result of the allegations that were made against them. The controversy shook the little community that existed on the island and brought the island's seedy underbelly to the surface. Many of the people, all of whom were related in some way, were divided between their allegiance to their family members and the demand for justice. It was necessary for the British government, which had been maintaining Pitcairn as a territory for a considerable amount of time, to step in and establish a legal and judicial system in order to deal with the cases. They found themselves in the position of having to cope with the aftermath of the trial and the exposing of their previously concealed trauma. The current state of life on the island. Even if the memories of the past are sad, life on Pitcairn has continued in a manner that is very similar to how it has been for millennia. The island remains largely self-sufficient, with residents growing their own food and relying on occasional supply ships for goods that cannot be produced locally. Pitcairn's only store is stocked with essentials, but there are long gaps between shipments, meaning the shelves are often bare for months at a time. It is not uncommon for tourists who make the laborious trek to Pitcairn to be taken aback by the island's stunning natural beauty and distinctive way of life. The rich foliage, towering cliffs, and crystal-clear waters form a picture-perfect environment. The islanders take tremendous pleasure in their surroundings, and most of the island is a living museum of its history. Visitors can examine the ruins of the HMS Bounty, visit the tomb of John Adams, and even see the cannons that were taken from the ship when it was destroyed. However, for those who stay longer, the island's remoteness can become oppressive. With no airport and only one ship that passes every few months, Pitcairn is cut off from the rest of the world. Communications with the outside world are limited and medical facilities are minimal, meaning that anyone who is dangerously ill must be transported to Tahiti, some 2,000 kilometers away. The island's population is aging, and many of the younger generations have departed to pursue better chances abroad. Concerns have been raised regarding the community's ability to survive in the long run as a consequence of this. Although the British government has expressed an interest in preserving Pitcairn's distinctive culture, the island's future is uncertain due to its remote location and the fact that its population is continually decreasing. Ancient enigmas and mysteries. In spite of the fact that they were the first people to permanently settle on Pitcairn, the mutineers were not the island's first inhabitants. Long before the arrival of the British sailors, Polynesians had already established a settlement on the island. There is evidence of their presence on the island in the form of petroglyphs, which are ancient carvings etched into the rocks of the island. These engravings, which are believed to be more than 1,000 years old, serve as a reminder of the Polynesian navigators who formerly utilized the enormous Pacific Ocean as their highway. They were able to sail thousands of kilometers over open ocean with only the stars and natural elements as their guides, making the Polynesians some of the most talented navigators in the history of the world. Pitcairn is thought to have been the location of a small community of Polynesians who stayed there for a period of time before inexplicably disappearing, leaving behind only a few remnants of their culture. There is no known explanation for their departure, and the petroglyphs that they left behind are still a mystery. There are historians who suggest that they may have been compelled to depart due to environmental conditions or conflict with other Polynesian cultures. Nonetheless, the reality is still a mystery. There is a precarious future. It is becoming increasingly important to ask issues about the future of Pitcairn as the population of the island continues to decrease. In spite of the fact that the British government has made investments in the islanders' infrastructure and services, it is unknown whether or not the community will be able to survive in the long run. It is possible that the island would become abandoned once more if the families that are still there chose to depart. This would leave behind a legacy that is both beautiful and tragic. For now, Pitcairn remains one of the world's most unique and isolated places, with a history that is both fascinating and deeply complex. Its remote location, stunning natural beauty, and rich history make it a destination for adventurous travelers seeking to explore the farthest reaches of the world. But under the surface of this tropical beauty lurks a darker story, one of rebellion, survival, scandal, and the enduring legacy of a small society striving to preserve its way of life. Pitcairn Island's future may be unknown, but its past continues to captivate the imagination of everyone who visits its shores. Whether it will remain populated or become a forgotten relic of history remains to be seen, but for now, the island's dark secrets are a reminder that even the most isolated corners of the planet are not immune to the complexity of human nature. If you're fascinated by hidden histories and untold stories from the world's most remote places, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Join us on more incredible journeys you won't want to miss.